We're already 1 month past the first year of 2026, and the real estate stats are in for the greater Edmonton area. Rather than sharing with you the actual numbers, I'll just share with you what is actually going on in the trenches. And so what we have seen is a rise in inventory level, which we actually wanted to see. We are at and actually a decline in sales for January. So historically, we don't expect December, January to be very busy months. In the last few years, that was completely changed, and so it looks like we're going back to normal levels, but the number of sales dropped significantly from January this year to January last year. However, it's more in line with what we've seen in the let's say over the course of an average January in the last 15 years. So nothing scary there. But the inventory level did rise. We were certainly in a seller's market position. We now have 4.3 months of inventory, which is right at the cusp of essentially a balanced market. Still a little bit leaning towards the seller's market, but certainly more balanced. Now, the weird thing about that is that when you're actually looking for properties, for the buyers that are, they won't feel that way because good homes are hard to find. Good investment properties are still hard to find, and multiple offers are still happening. The way the multiple offers are going is very different than it had been. I've seen multiple offer situations where both, or the more than two offers have come in below asking price. That certainly wasn't the case last year or the year before, for that matter. So that is certainly changing. The forecasting seminar with all of the economists who like to try to predict our market like they try to predict the weather, the prediction was essentially a 1% increase in sale prices, which tells me that they really don't think anything is going to happen, and a flat market price-wise would actually be quite convenient for everybody. And so the number of sales they do predict to come down from the past few years of the historic highs that we've seen, and more at the levels that we've been accustomed to. Still, actually, I would say higher than they would have been any time in the last 10 years, but our population is higher as well. So, of course, we should see more or higher numbers there. So, all in all, looks like we're going to have a balanced market. All signs are pointing towards still that. Construction costs look to be rising again. So while there are some builders, when you look in the outskirts neighborhoods, that market actually seems a little bit scary. I know the builders are certainly concerned, and there are more incentives. They're definitely willing to work with buyers a lot more on their pricing. But the pricing at the same time is quite tight because the material costs have not been going down, and as a matter of fact, they're rising. So there's only so much that they can actually come down, because otherwise there's no profit. They're in the business of profit. They're just not going to build if they don't. And so I suspect that market will start to balance itself out, because if you're looking in established neighborhoods, I've alluded to it already, but it's very difficult to find good products, and when you do, they're gone. And so what will naturally happen is it'll trickle into the outskirts neighborhoods, and we'll continue to see some life in there that will probably balance itself out for the builders who definitely have too much supply at the moment. So that's where I would suggest that the months of inventory is coming in, is from that new supply. And all in all, the buzz in the market in general, it seems to be quite positive. And as we near the spring, and this beautiful weather is certainly helping, it looks like we're going to have a very healthy spring, very healthy market. And I look forward to chatting with you if you have any plans to make moves yourself.